Hey, YouTubers, Tazman here, bringing you another episode of Foundry VTT from the ground up, Game Masters Edition. I keep forgetting to say that. Um, so in our last episode, we started going over these little sidebar buttons. We reserved these three right here for this episode, and the reason is because there's quite a bit, mostly with this one, but there's quite a bit with each of these. And we're gonna have to do something else too. That's okay. So anyway, let's jump right in. So the first thing we're gonna talk about is the little ambient sounds and stuff. So if we click on the ambient sounds, we have these following options. We have drawing an ambient sound, we have previewing ambient sounds, and we have delete sounds. So if we have multiple sounds on here, we can get rid of them all in one fell swoop, which might not be the best thing. It's a lot of times it's best to click on the little center of the sound and hit the delete key, and that's same with most of these other things. If we want to preview a sound, we can turn that on and off. That's if we have a sound on here. But we're going to go ahead and draw a sound on here. In fact, on this stage, we're going to put a sound. And what you do when you draw this is you left click and you drag. Now you'll notice that we're getting this big bubble. This is how far that sound is going to be heard. So if we actually draw the bubble, say to about here-ish, that means, actually, I don't want to go quite that far. I'm going to go here. Yes, right here to where this door is. So once we've done that, you can see that we have this sound bubble, and anything that is within this area is going to hear whatever sound we assign to this. So we have our sound type. We can choose between local, which means it will be affected by walls and things like that. If we if we put up a wall right back here, the sound will be blocked on the outside of that wall. If we set it to global, it's just going to always be available, always going no matter where you are. Basically, it kind of ignores the bubble that we've set. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and find a sound, and I believe I have a tavern sound. So if we go props, images to audio, and it looks like we have a couple. Let's try tavern. Tavern 01, I don't know. So let's go ahead and select that one. And this is the X coordinate. This is the place on the scene here where we have our sound. This is the radius of the sound, which is that 50 is basically what that is. We can change that. This is volume easing. Volume easing is really cool because what that does is, let's say we have a token here and he moves in. When he's right here, the sound will actually be at its faintest. And the closer you get to the center or the central point, the epicenter of the sound, it will get louder and louder and louder. So here you can see the maximum volume is 0.5. Once again, I've mentioned that most settings will go from 0 to 1. So 0.5 is 50%. 0.75 would be 75%. 0.25 would be 25%, so on and so forth. So if we set sound easing, it will actually make it so it gets louder as we get closer. We're going to go ahead and leave that on. We're going to leave the max volume there. We can also do something which we're going to talk about in the lighting, is you can actually make it so that I want this sound to come on when it gets dark, or I want this sound to come on when it gets light. When it gets dark, it turns off, vice versa, right? And right now, we're not going to do that right now, just because that would make us go into lighting. So now we create the ambient sound. Now, obviously, we're not hearing something, but if we click the preview, you'll see it is using my mouse as if it were a character. So if we move it just to the edge, you can barely hear it. And the closer we get to the center, It gets louder until we hit that 50%. Now if we went ahead and said, yeah, let's go ahead and turn it all the way up. So now you might be able to hear it a little better when we're all the way out here. And it might have a more gradual. So that's basically what that guy's going to do. Then, of course, we've talked about the garbage can lots of times. That will delete all the sounds on the scene. We're going to go ahead and put this back to 0.5. I don't know how loud that is for you guys, and I'm hoping it's not too loud. By the way, it doesn't update in real time what this is. However, usually if you mouse over it and then you hit the up arrow, you can actually go increments of 0.5. So there we have the 0.5, 0.55, 6, 6.5, so on and so forth. So that will help you fine tune it because you really can't tell just by dragging exactly where it is. So there's our sound, and pretty cool stuff, you got to admit it. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is going to be our lights, and that's, I guess, well, no, we're not going to. Oh, we'll just go with the lights. So our lights, kind of the same thing. So up here we have our place lights. This is our delete lights. This is change the daytime, or change to daytime, transition to daytime, and transition to nighttime. So right now we're basically at daytime. When we set up our scene, we said that, right? When we came in here, where is the lighting? Vision and lighting. We set the darkness level is currently at 0. This would be 1, which is nighttime. So this is how we set up our scene. Right now it's at 0. Now if we wanted, you know, lights to start coming on at say 4 or something like that, 0.4, we can actually use that same type of thing as we did with the sound. So we're going to place a couple lights, and then we're going to talk about the different things. So this will transition us to daytime. This one, if we do it, it will slowly transition us over, I believe, 10 seconds or so to nighttime. When it's daytime, token sight really isn't that affected by stuff, but when you go to nighttime or within like walls that are completely surrounding other things, then you might actually see more token vision being impeded. Let's go and switch it back to daytime. This little cloud right here is resetting the fog of war. So if you're testing things and you have a token that now can, you know, comes in here and sees everything, but you want that token to be out here and not see anything, you would reset the fog of war, the, you know, the vision of it. And once I hit that like that and say yes, basically everything the token has not seen before will be completely black. So let's go ahead and place our first light, and let's just put it on one of these tables. Let's put it on this table over here. You click and hold. Oops, yeah, you click and hold and you drag it. So once again, just like the sound, you can actually see the light. You can see the bright vision, or the brightness is, you know, half of the total distance, and then the dim vision would be, or the dim light would be, the rest of it. I actually want to make this one fairly bright and just kind of put it in that table there. And part of it is I want you to notice that it is going over the walls here, because we haven't messed with walls. So now that we have our light, we can double click it and we can do all our different settings in here. So once again, we can have a global light. If we did a global light, it would be kind of like moonlight or something like that. Universal light pretty much is just everywhere. And then local light means you can actually put restraints on it and stuff. So once again, we have our X coordinate, our Y coordinate. We can change this radius and stuff. We can say that, okay, this is, you know, kind of like dark vision. It's a light that follows that rule. So we could say, okay, it has a bright, or the dim light is 60 feet and the bright light is 30 feet, right? We can change the angle. So right now you can see it 360 degrees. Let's say we want to change it to, say, 45 degrees. And now you can see that light is only 45 degrees. However, it might not be facing the right direction. So we can actually come in here and change its direction. Once again, it's a little easier to go ahead and use the up and down arrows while you're mousing over this. But you can actually kind of get exactly where you want your light to be. I'm going to change it back to 360. Of course, when you have 360, this is not going to matter because it's everywhere. So our next thing, this is the activation range, and this is what I was talking about with the sound. Let's say we wanted our light to come on at, let's make it halfway tonight, right? So let's do 0.5. And we can change our light color. Let's go ahead and make this a nice purple light, maybe. There we go. And now you can see we have this really nice purple light. We can change the color intensity so it's not quite so overwhelming, such as that. But let's do, well, I want it to really kind of stand out. Maybe we'll leave it at 50. So let's go ahead and just move that down. The one thing I wish it could do is you could actually type in this box, but you cannot. This next thing is the light animation, and this is really cool because you can have all kinds of cool effects. So we have a torch where you'll see it's kind of flickering on and off. Hopefully you guys can see that pretty good. We can make it night. Let's make it night, then you'll be able to see it a lot better. Oh, actually I think I have these backwards. Yes. See how the light turned off because it's night? We want to turn this to 1 and this to 0.5. Let's just make sure that works right. So now we need to click out of there. There we go. And if we make it light, it should turn off once the light gets about 50%, and there we go. So the sound's the same way. We can actually set up our sound so that, you know, maybe at our tavern, the minstrels do not get there until almost midnight-ish or really dark, and we could actually simulate that. So let's go ahead and what was I going to do? Oh, we're going to look at some of these other types. So we're going to make it dark again so you can actually see these other effects because they're really cool. So as you can see, this is the torch light, and it kind of has a natural flicker like a torch would be. If we changed it to yellowish kind of color, it would definitely look like a torch. So our next one here is pulse, and I'm just going to let almost all these things describe themselves because they do it just great. So here's pulse. You can see pulsing in and out. Now, some things you can do with all these things, you can change the animation speed and the animation intensity. If we do the animation intensity, you'll see it goes from really dark to really bright, or we can make it so it's almost not even noticeable. As you can see now, it's just barely even doing it. Go back to 5 again, and now it's kind of there. We can also change the speed to fast or super slow. All right, now that we've done that, let's go ahead. I'm just going to hit the down arrow. We're going to look at the next one. This is the chroma effect. So everyone knows chroma mice, chroma mouse, keyboards and stuff, they kind of flicker through the colors. And that's exactly what this is going to do. Pulsing wave, once again, really cool looking, kind of like a stone was dropped in water. So you might use this over some water or something like that, and maybe put some walls to block the light. We'll talk about that. If we do this next one, which is kind of swirly fog, really nice effect. We have sunburst, something that's just really shiny. Light dome, which I think is pretty cool, great for force fields or something like that. We have a mysterious emanation that, you know, it kind of swaps directions. We have hex dome. This kind of reminds me of like another type of force field or something like that. We have the ghostly light, which is a lot like the mysterious clouds or mists or whatever it was, but a little different. We have energy filled, which is very cool looking. Rolling mists kind of has a natural, almost living, organic feel to it. We have black hole. Now, some of these, now this one's actually designed to be more of a darkness. So if we kind of made it black, it would have a cooler look, and maybe we need to make it day. Some of these are going to be really hard to properly show on on the screen. So here, I guess you can't really see that. Let's increase the intensity of it, see what that does. Oh, but now we don't have our light at all. Go back to 0. There we go. Now it's on. Animation speed. No, this one's really kind of hard to see. Let's just change it red then. So yeah, black hole's kind of a hard one to see. Rolling mist is also one that's designed to be more of a dark color. Maybe we need to go back to night. I know the intention behind them. For example, the this black hole darkness is kind of supposed to feel like a darkness spell. But it's really hard. I wonder, maybe if we put another light source in here, it might help. Let's go ahead and hit update. I'm trying to think of the best way to show this, and I'm not doing very good. That doesn't seem to do it. Anyway, I mean, that's kind of cool looking. You can see out here the darkness. I wonder, how about if we did intensity's all the way up there. Animation speed. Yeah. So anyway, that is the lights. Oh, we have walls next, and I'm not sure. We're at 20 minutes, and I really don't want to. Let's get a decent looking one for this. I think we're going to save the next part. Let's do our, let's kind of do a bright color. Ooh, that looks nice. We can go ahead and up the animation, down the intensity. All right, so I think, oh, hit cancel. I think we're going to end it here just because I honestly think the walls are going to take longer to cover properly. What one was that? It was, I don't remember what it was. That one's a little hypnotic. Is it swirling fog? No. There it was. Light dome. And then go ahead and turn this back down too. There we go. All right, so I think we're going to go ahead and end it here. And in the next episode, we will definitely cover the walls, because the walls, well, they're kind of what makes everything even, work better, because you can have doors, secret doors, windows, ledges, all kinds of cool stuff with walls. So I think it deserves its own episode. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a thumbs up down below. Aside from that, comment, like, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter. Check out my Discord and my other channels. And don't forget to tell other people about my channel. Check it out. If they like what they see, they can sub. We can grow. And everything will just be hunky-dory. And that is it, my friends. Until next time, I'll be seeing you later. Bye.